Hagan here again, and today I'm going to show you how to receive a text message using Twilio. This is the follow-up to last week's video where I showed you how to send a text message using Twilio. This one's just as easy. I don't know if it's that easy, I guess, because the last one was only 4 lines of code. But I'm going to show you how to create a page that Twilio will post to, how to go into Twilio and say, hey, for this phone number, post to this page, and then show you how to get it on your web server and make it work end to end. And in between there, I'm also going to show you how to debug it on localhost, because that's going to be one of the problems that you'll run into. Well, likely one of the problems that you'll run into, if any. So let's just jump right in here by adding a new ASP web form here, and we're going to call this web form sms.aspx. And this web form is, let me zoom in here so that you guys can see it a little easier on lower video quality. I'm going to delete all the contents out of here, and the reason I'm doing that is because Twilio is making a post into this page, sms.aspx, and they expect in response to that an XML output, and the XML values that you're allowed to use are defined in the Twilio API. So for this example, I just hacked up my own little XML piece here, and that's what we're going to use. So you'll notice that I pasted on the top line. That is important because you don't want any white space at the top of your output. And the reason that you don't want any white space is because that would invalidate the XML. And Twilio does need XML. Now you don't have to send the content type of XML because they can handle regular HTML content type, but it's important that you have valid XML. So you'll see that I'm telling Twilio, hey, I've got a response here, there's some action for you to perform, and that action is to send an SMS back to the person who sent their original text. It says, thanks for the message. And we could stop right there and be completely done, and you guys would probably not be very happy, right? Because I know you guys. You're going to want some more code than that, because that's ridiculous and not very helpful. So let's go to the code behind here. Let me show you what's going to go down. So Twilio sends over a whole heap of fields. They'll post these fields straight into your page. All you have to do is handle them. Now for this example, I'm only going to use 3. And the reason I'm only going to use 3 is just to keep this thing simple. So we're going to use string from is equal to request from. And the only reason I'm using 3 is because that's all I can remember right now. String 2 is equal to request 2. Because you guys got to remember, I don't really prep for these videos at all. If you've watched my other videos, you can tell immediately how little I do prep. Body is equal to request body. So what we've done here is we've set these 3 string values, from, to, and body, equal to the respective values that are being posted by Twilio. So from is going to be your cell phone number, to is going to be your Twilio number that was texted to, and body is going to be equal to the text of the message. And to is important because you might say, well, I already know the number, right, because I only have 1. Well, you might not have 1. What if you wanted to have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 and handle them in different ways based on which number was texted into? So just throwing that in there so you guys can get your gears going and think about some cool uses for that. So let me do a quick if body is not we'll do equal to mark, then we'll perform some action. So let's also do a check on this. Let's say, no, it's cool. So if the body is equal to mark, then we're going to do some action, and that action is going to be response.write hey mark. Write myself a message, right? Pretty cool. Too cool for school. So this is the only reason I'm putting this in here is so I can show you how to debug this stuff, because you're thinking, oh crap, if I have to go into Twilio, then that means I have to push my code to my dev server so that Twilio can see it, because I don't have my IP shared and blah blah blah, and you keep going down that path, and it's like, well, this is going to take too long and be too much of a pain in the butt. So let me show you how to get around that. We're just going to put a breakpoint on that, and we'll debug this project, and you'll see that really quickly all you have to do is, let's skip through that, it says, hey, thanks for the message, and if you view the source, you'll see that's our XML, right? You just need to now fake the Twilio response, so pass in mark, and you'll see, hey, if body is equal to mark, which just so happens to be true, then I need to response that right, and you see I've now broken my XML, O's no's, and I have hey mark in there. So so what does that really help you with, right? You're thinking, well, that's still kind of interesting, it's neat, I guess, but what do I do with that? Well, you could handle this body. You could say if the body is equal to keyword. So if you told people, hey, text keyword Steve to this thing, and you can join the Steve mailing list, or maybe text coupons and you can join the coupon mailing list. You get the idea. So I'm just showing you how to use those variables, which is kind of interesting. So make sure that my project is built, and the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to zip this stuff up and I'm going to send it to my web server. And I have a server in St. Louis that I use for all my little projects, this one included. And the domain that this is going to be hosted on is textminions.com, and textminions was really just some weird idea that I had one night where I was like, oh man, it'd be badass if I could create like, you know, these little minions that for small business owners they could say, oh, I want to send out a coupon campaign, so I could just right click or click on a minion and name him, you know, Coupon Steve, and he's responsible for sending out coupons to my customers whenever they subscribe. And maybe I want another minion, you know, like that can handle my mailing list and thank people for signing up, and you know, anything you might want to do with text messages. And I just like the whole minion idea because it's awesome. He and my friend Jerry kind of got hung up on Despicable Me, and really, for whatever reason, thought that that was one of the greatest things in the world. But I never ended up building it. Well, not really. I could build a lot of it, but you guys know how it is as a programmer. You just get hung up on other projects, and this is really close to what I do at work. And I didn't want to overlap those two any more than I had to. So let's see. I put those. You'll see that these are hosted in C websites. Text minions. I had that domain set up in IIS to point to that as my textminions.com. So I go to textminions.com, and we should see last week's example, and we do, right? So if you had an FTP, it works the same way. I just happen to be doing a remote desktop, and I host all my stuff in my own little server. If you just had a shared hosting environment, you could just FTP into it and dump your stuff in there, and you'll be in the same condition that I'm in right now, which is good. Then I have my sms.aspx, and we should test it. And it says, thanks for the message, and if I view the source, there's no breaks. We're all good, right? All right. So copy that URL, and now let's log into your Twilio account. This is where things get real. So log in here. Click your numbers, and you should have a number or two that we purchased in the last video, and if not, it's real easy. Just click buy a number, buy the number. You guys might appreciate this. So I searched for the name Mark, and I was like, oh yeah, I want my name inside my number. So I have 6275, which is Mark, right? And then I just so happened to click the first one, which was a 404 for Atlanta. So I have 404 Mark not found, which is pretty exciting. It's probably the nerdiest thing you guys are going to hear all day. So what I want to do, I'm not in Atlanta, by the way. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, and Kentucky Derby's actually tomorrow, so I need to get this video wrapped up before then, right? The family coming in and stuff. I need to click this number, and down here where it says SMS request URL. So anytime an SMS message comes in, you're telling Twilio, send them here. So I'm going to paste in this URL that we just copied, save changes. That's it. Optionally, you could have a backup URL here. I do have cloud environment computers that I make as my primary, just to speed up the ping times between everybody, and you guys know how that works. And then I have a backup URL, which is just a regular hosted server, which is what we're using, our dev server. That way, if stuff hits the fan, we're still in good shape. And it's more important for voice than it is for SMS, but you know, I always do it for both. Anyway, so let's give this thing a test, right? I should be able to send a number to 1404 not found Mark, and hopefully I get a message back. So let's see. ASDF is what I'm texting myself here to 14045496275. All right. And this number will again disappear after the end of this video, but I click send. So this message gets sent to Twilio, which then connects to my server, and the server says, "Hey, send this other message back." And as you just heard, I just got the message back. Thanks for the message. All right, guys, so that's it. We've done an end-to-end transaction. The code is really easy. I showed you how to do some localhost debugging if you didn't have a server ready or whatever. Maybe you just wanted to play with it. Showed you how to use the XML inside here. So you should be well on your way to doing your own Twilio-based apps and sending and receiving text messages. And maybe we'll go further next time and like actually make a system where people can subscribe and then I can blast out to those people. That would be kind of cool. That way we get some database interaction. But this video was just meant to be simple. If you liked it, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you want just the source code for this or any of my other projects, you can go to markhagan.me, markhagan.me. And I have all of my code samples, and I have all of the videos embedded, and all, you know, so maybe some additional updates that I've made since the videos were released that I'm just too lazy to update YouTube. But make sure you check out my webpage, follow me on Twitter, do all that stuff. And send me any questions you might have. Just post your questions straight to this video, and I will respond to you. And if you have any requests, special requests for future videos, let me know, because I do this all the time, and I'm always down to hear. You know, I'd rather build something that you guys wanted than something that I just wanted to build for the heck of it, right? because then I feel like I'm helping somebody.